Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 organizational meeting. Call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock, starting with the land acknowledgement. Blackfalds Town Council acknowledges that we are on Treaty 6 territory, a traditional meeting ground, gathering place, and traveling route to the Cree, Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Métis, Dene, and Nakota Sioux. We acknowledge all the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit whose footsteps have marked these lands for centuries. First item is the adoption of this agenda, 3.1. Any changes, administration?
No additions.
Thank you, council. Seeing none, can I have a motion to adopt organizational meeting? Councillor Sands.
I'll move to accept the organizational meeting agenda as presented.
Thank you. Call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous. Beginning of item 4.1, official oath of office.
Thank you, Council. Just as a note there, it does say official oath of office, and I think that was a carry forward. As this isn't, say, the inaugural meeting, we're not doing any oaths of office. But what we do have on here is just a reminder that as part of your duties as a council member, that you are a commissioner of oaths by virtue of office. So we are just kind of putting this forward as a reminder to you. There has not been any changes to the act, the Notaries and Commissioners Act. Danielle looked at that, and there was no changes to that, but we will ensure that in case you would like to have a new version, let us know. Although there isn't any changes, I'm not sure if you've still got your copy from last year. So this is more for information.
Thank you. And just to be clear, since we did have a by-election, I'm wondering if Councillor Coulter, did you receive your stamp for Commissioner of Oaths? So I would assume that everyone else has received. Okay, is that? I know that is an option. I don't know that it's
You don't need
requirement.
a stamp, but if you would like one, if anybody does want a stamp,
Okay.
let Danielle know, and she
Okay.
can order you one.
So if it comes up, I know that that I've got one, and I have had to use it a handful of times, and I think some other members may have it. But thank you for clarifying that. Again, and so each one of these will have a motion to accept this. Thank you. Can I get a motion to accept item 4.1? Councillor Pell.
Thank you. Motion to accept the Commission of Oaths Act as information.
Thank you. I call the question. All in favor? Unanimous. Moving on to 5.1, setting a regular and standing committee of council meeting dates.
So at the organizational meeting here, council does set their meetings for the remainder of 2023 and 2024. So we are just looking for council to approve the proposed schedule. We have not made any changes to that schedule. We did speak about that, and I think it was agreed that it would remain the same. So we would be looking for the two motions that are outlined below the administrative recommendations.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? Councillor Schwab.
I'll move the first administrative recommendation that council approve the proposed 2023-2024 schedule, where the town of Blackfalds regular council meetings are held on the second and fourth Tuesday of each month, commencing at 7 in the council chambers at the municipal office. For that, the meeting of December 26th be canceled due to being a statutory holiday for Boxing Day.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? Call the question. All in favor? That motion is carried unanimously. Councillor Stende.
I'm prepared to move that council approve the proposed 23-24 schedule, where the Town of Blackfalds Standing Committee of Council meetings are held every third Monday of each month, commencing at 7 p.m. in council chambers at the municipal office, with no meeting in February, May, or October due to the third Monday falling on statutory holidays, which are Family Day, Victoria Day, and Thanksgiving Day.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? I call the question. All in favor? Okay, it's unanimous. Unanimous. Moving on to 6.1, the appointment of deputy mayor schedule.
So the deputy mayor schedule was approved at the inaugural meeting of council back in 2021. There was some slight changes that were made, and the approved or the revised schedule was brought forward to the August 9th, 2022 council meeting. So this is just here for council information again.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Seeing none, looking for a motion to adopt the deputy mayor schedule. Councillor Coulter.
I move that we accept the deputy mayor schedule.
Okay, thank you. The motion reads, the council reconfirm attendance. Oh, sorry, I'm reading.
Wrong one.
Going one too far. Okay, I don't actually see it in here. So as it was read aloud.
Yeah.
Any questions? And debate or discussion? I call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous. Moving on to 7.1, conference attendance, first being FCM attendance. That's what it was
So
on.
this, similar to the previous report, was also discussed at your inaugural meeting. So what I'm looking for is just to, for council to reconfirm the attendance for the FCM conference in 2024 and 2025.
Thank you. Just for the benefit of anybody watching, it's in a little bit of an anomaly. Normally it would be the mayor and CAO and 2 council members, but FCM next year is held in Calgary, which gives the opportunity for the entire council to attend, which is a great benefit. So I'm not sure who is first, so I'll see.
Probably have the same
Councillor
comment.
Coulter, yours first.
Thank you. There needs to be a correction. Ottawa, Ontario, May 28th to June 1st, 2025. It was decided after I came on board that I would be going, not Councillor Sands.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for catching that. So seeing as you're making the correction, would you also like to make the motion?
Sure. Council confirms the attendance of the federal and Canadian municipal for 2024-25 as amended.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? I call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. 7.2, the Alberta Communities Convention attendance.
So again, similar to the previous 2 reports, this was another one that was confirmed at the inaugural meeting. I am just looking for confirmation. So the resolution would be that council move that all of council and the CAO will attend the 2024 Alberta Municipalities Association Convention in Red Deer, taking place from September 25th to 27th, 2024.
Thank you. Questions? Seeing none, looking for the motion. Councillor Sands.
I'll move that all of council and the CAO will attend the 2024 Alberta Municipalities Association Convention in Red Deer, taking place September 25th to the 27th, 2024.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? I call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. And moving on to town boards, committees, and commissions appointments. First being 8.1, members at large appointments to the town of Blackfalds boards, committees, and commissions.
So at the annual meeting, council does appoint member-at-large applicants to the various committees, commissions, and boards. With the exception of the library board, we have had the exact amount required by each of the committees. So you will see that I do have the first resolution for the Economic Development Committee contains the names of the applicants that we are recommending be appointed. Same with the FCS board. And could you just go down to the second page? The library board, you will need to consider, we would only need 2 for that. The recreational culture board, we have enough. And the policing committee and the MPAC are fine. So all of them are good except for the library board. So you will need to debate on the 2 that you want for that.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions before considering the various positions? So we do, as CEO Isaac pointed out, we do have the one board, library board, where we have the one applicant more than we do have positions. One of those being the an application to remain or to extend, I suppose. Any comments on what we feel council leaning towards? Councillor Bell.
Thank you. I just thought as that's the third recommendation, we might be able to debate that
Okay.
At that
when
time.
we
So
get
you
to
wanna
it.
go-
So I would,
Sure, if you want, you
we
can go
get
through
some
each.
some wins under us.
Sure.
All right. So the
Let's
first
see.
being the economic development. So you're willing to
I
make
was
that
going to say,
motion?
in saying that, I am
Okay.
prepared to move that the following member at large appointments be made to the Economic Development and Tourism Advisory Committee for a 2-year term commencing October 24th, 2023 and expiring at the organizational meeting of council. Yes, in 2025. Those being Ray Olfert, Corey Torliquib, Krista French, Taylor Mitchell, and Calla Pendit.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? Call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous. Looking at FCSS. Councillor Sandy.
I'll move that the following member at large appointments be made to the Family and Community Support Services Board for a 3-year term commencing October 24th, 2023 and expiring at the organizational meeting of council to be held in October of 2026. Melissa McLeod, Cliff Soper, Jesselyn Parsons, Orlea Gray, and Annette Bogutsky.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? All in favor? Carried unanimously. And bringing us to the library board. So we do have a decision to make with regards to one additional member or applicant in this case. Now, from my perspective, looking at I'm always happy to continue keeping someone on a board if they've been productive and know the board. So I'm happy with Glenn remaining from my perspective. And then I know it's difficult looking at the other 2, but I did note that that Linda had also applied for FCSS, so she looks like she's likely interested in other opportunities. So from my perspective, I would consider Anne as second choice, Glenn and Anne. Open for other suggestions. Councillor Stendy.
I'm just looking at the FCSS board, and it doesn't have a maximum. It has a minimum of 5 to 7 members at large and a county resident. So I do believe that we would be able to if she's open to it, ask Linda if she would be willing to sit on the FCSS committee. In which case we would have space for both Glenn and Anne on the Municipal Library Board.
Thank you. Similar thoughts. I know we had made motion for FCSS, but we do occasionally have people added to boards partway through. Any other discussion? If not, Councillor Stenday, are you willing to make the motion?
So I would recommend that the following member-at-large appointments be made to the library board for a 3-year term commencing October 24th, 2023, and expiring at the organizational meeting of council to be held in October 2026. Glenn Evans and Anne Seifert. I would also recommend reaching out, if administration wouldn't mind, to Linda and finding out if she would be willing to sit on the FCSS committee.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? Seeing none, I call the question. All in favor? Thank you so much. That is unanimous. And moving on to Rec Board. Councillor Schwab.
I'll move that the following member-at-large appointments be made to the Rec, Culture, and Parks Board for a 3-year term commencing October 24th, 2023, and expiring at the organizational meeting of council to be held in October 2026. Kayla Marquis and Louise Rellis.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? I call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. Policing Committee. Any questions? Councillor Sands.
No, I have no questions, but I'll be prepared to make the motion if nobody does have any questions.
Yes. Looks like you're the one.
Okay. I'll move that the following member-at-large appointments be made to the Policing Committee for a 3-year term commencing October 24th, 2023, and expiring at the organizational meeting of council to be held in October of 2026. Teresa Franco, Tom Tompkins, Lance Chalmers, and Michael Woykin.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? I call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Municipal Planning Commission.
There's a typo. I just wanted to make note. Yeah, it says Policing Committee, but it is Municipal Planning Committee.
Councillor Sands, your mic's still on. Would you like to? And he's out.
Yeah, I can make that.
Councillor Pell got when you beat you out there.
Sorry to beat you up. I would like to move that the following member-at-large appointments be made to the Municipal Planning Commission for a 1-year term commencing October 24th, 2023, and expiring at the organizational meeting of council to be held in October of 2024. Alejandro Garcia Miranda and Richard Poole.
Thank you. Debate or discussion on the motion? I call the question. All in favor? Unanimous. Moving on to Municipal Emergency Management Committee. Which is in my list here. Is that would be internal?
That's right.
Okay, that's a type. Same with 55 plus. Okay. All right. That's a repeat there. So that brings us to the council member appointments to Town of Blackfalds boards, committees, and commissions. First being Economic Development and Tourism Advisory Committee. So
This is for you guys to debate. I haven't provided other than give you the spreadsheet of what the current appointments are. So leaving this to council to have that discussion.
Thank you. And then typically this previous council and this council had decided that that council members would remain for 2 years. So this would be the first opportunity for those board positions to change. So I do see Councillor Stendy.
I was just going to say, historically, the way that we have done it is go through each and every board or committee, and whoever is interested raises their hand. If we have more than the appointment, names have gone in a hat and it's been drawn that way. I'm not sure if that's how council wants to do it this year.
Councillor Pell.
Thank you. And I had one additional comment. I noticed that on the agenda, we have the Town of Blackfalds and Lacombe County IDP and ICF committee listed on here. However, it was decided at the beginning of the term that the members appointed to those boards would sit for the full 4 years, which is what the county had decided to do as well. So while I see that on there, we do have 2 members and an alternate. So I believe, is that the same thought that everyone else understood regarding that? Okay, so that's one we don't have to vote for.
Okay. So EdTech, who have we got that is looking? Okay, Councillor Stendy. Deputy Mayor Dennis. Councillor Coulter. So we have 2 positions, 3 names. So we're going to just rock, paper, scissors, or draw names. Yes. Okay, that simplifies it. So looks like we're down to Councillor Stende and Deputy Mayor Dennis. Councillor Coulter withdrawing her name for that. Any debate or discussion on that? Can I get a motion to make that appointment? Councillor Schwab?
I'll move that Councillor Stendy and Councillor Dennis be added to the Economic Development and Tourism Advisory Committee.
Thank you. Now, are we going to do these individually, or do you want one motion at the end with all these?
Let's just do them
One, okay, thank you. So any debate or discussion on that? All in favor? And the motion was by Councillor Schwab. Unanimous. FCSS. Councillor Sands. Deputy Mayor Dennis. Do I have anyone else that's interested in their name and not? Seeing none, can I get a motion to accept Councillor Sands, Deputy Mayor Dennis for the FCSS committee? Councillor Fell.
Thank you. I move to appoint Councillor Sands and Deputy Mayor Dennis to the FCSS committee.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? I call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous. Library board. Councillor Coulter and Councillor Pell. Anyone else? Seeing none, we do have 2. Can I get the motion to reflect Coulter or Pell on the library board? You can make that motion. Councillor Coulter.
I move that Councillor Appel and Councillor Coulter are on the Blackfalds Library Board.
Thank you. Bit of discussion. All in favor? That is unanimous. Rick board. Yes, Councillor Coulter.
Just quick question. In this, are we to be stating the term or not when we do our motion?
We address this every year at organizational meeting.
Okay.
Thank you. Again, bring us back to the rec board. Councillor Schwab and Appel. Anyone else? This is going smoothly. Motion to reflect that. Deputy Mayor Dennis.
I move that Councillor Schwab and Councillor Appel be appointed to the Rec and Culture and Parks Board.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? I call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous. Policing Committee. Councillor Coulter, Councillor Sands, and Councillor Schwab, and Councillor Stenny. Okay, so does everybody have a piece of paper? You have them? Okay, so that's much more neutral of administration. And Schwab, Coulter and Schwab. Of course, there's sticky notes, so that makes it that much more interesting. Yeah, there you go. There's a way. There's a way. You could pull them inside, and it could be like secret ballots.
How's this, Cam? Box? Close your eyes. It's not quite a hole. Just two.
Just two. Thank you. Okay. So the draw, Councillor Sands, Councillor Sands, can I get a motion to reflect that, Councillor Pell?
Thank you. I move that we appoint Councillor Stendy and Councillor Sands to the Policing Committee.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? Call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous. Municipal Planning Commission.
Diddle diddle. No. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, staying the same.
That was good.
Oh.
Okay, can I get a motion? So we do have the three positions on there, so Councillor Coulter.
I move that Councillor Schwab, Councillor Sands, and Councillor Dennis are on the municipal planning commissions.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? Councillor Pell.
Thank you. Point of order. We need to actually address a chair and vice chair when we make appointments to this committee.
Okay. Yeah, don't recall. Okay, so we do have the additional nominations. I thought that was a nomination process for that, but it's okay. So you're Councillor Sands, you're currently chair?
No.
Or you're Councillor Schwab, you're deputy, correct?
Yeah, I'm the vice.
Okay, vice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, between the three of you. I mean, I'm happy to leave it as is and
Don't matter to me.
No, it doesn't matter to me. It works.
Sure.
okay. So then okay. Well, this is single motion to nominate the three with Councillor Schwab being the chair and Councillor Sand being the vice chair. Okay, so who's moving that motion? Is Councillor Coulter?
Okay, so I move that Councillor Schwab is the chair, Councillor Sands is the vice chair, and Councillor Dennison is
A member.
a member.
Thank you.
I wasn't sure. To the municipal planning and commissions.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Thank you. Unanimous. Municipal Emergency Management Committee. Let's bring that one back up. So that one, I think terms of reference is the mayor and then two council members. Councillor Pell?
I'm happy to stay on the committee.
Councillor Coulter? Any other names? Seeing none, can I get a motion to reflect Councillor Coulter, Councillor Pell, and Mayor Hoover? Councillor Pell.
Well, thank you. I move to appoint Councillors Appel and Coulter, as well as Mayor Hoover, to the Municipal Emergency Management Committee.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. And 55 plus Housing Building Committee. So right now, Councillor Coulter is the single member. Councillor Coulter's got her hand up again. Councillor Sands. So just going to reflect on that. Terms of reference on that one is, I believe, 2 members. It's not something that is met for some time. Okay, so this terms of reference is indicating 1 member of council, 3 members of the Bethany Group, 2 town staff, which includes the CAO and FCSS manager. So we have Councillor Sands, Councillor Coulter have put their name in for that. So can we do a draw? I've got stickies here, so I suppose we've got them already to save paper. No.
Same people?
I've got them here.
And there's only one.
Yes. Okay. Can I get a motion to reflect Councillor Coulter being the member for 55 plus committee? Councillor Coulter.
I move that Councillor Coulter will be a member of the 55 plus Housing Building Commission.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? All in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you. Brings us to external boards, committees, commission appointments, starting with Lacombe Foundation. Now, I will say that I would prefer that I remain on that, just being that it is a little bit of a complex portfolio. And currently, the Lacombe Foundation is in some fairly complex talks with the province when it comes to funding and planning for the lodge redevelopment. So for that reason, I would prefer to remain, but obviously if anyone else is interested, now that board does meet during the day, which I think was a factor in the past. So seeing no other names, can I get a motion? Certainly, yeah, we can designate an alternate for that. And I think you were the alternate, Councillor or Deputy Mayor Dennis. Anyone else interested in sitting as alternate? And again, that one is daytime meetings. I don't think that I've asked you, maybe once.
Yeah, once.
Once, yes. Right. Okay. And in that case, the Lacombe Foundation does have, they do elect a chair and a vice chair for that. So the vice chair has been in the past has been on that board for quite some time. So at this point, I will remain and Deputy Mayor Dennis will remain as alternate. Thank you, Councillor Sands.
I'll move that Mayor Hoover will sit on the Lacombe Foundation and Deputy Mayor Dennis will be the alternative.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Town of Blackfalds and Lacombe County IDP and ICF committees. So we've got, and we will be meeting fairly soon with that one as well.
I'm just confirming the discussion earlier that it was the understanding that the appointments would remain the
Right,
same
thank you.
throughout the
Thank you for
term.
reminding me. Okay. So with can we get a motion to reflect that? Councillor Pell?
Thank you. I move that sitting on the Town of Blackfalds and Lacombe County IDP and ICF Board, sit Mayor Hoover, Councillor Stendy, Councillor Sands, with Councillor Appel as the alternate.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. The Chamber of Commerce. Councillor Coulter. Anyone else interested? Councillor Sands.
To answer your question, it's the first Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. at the Eagle Builders Center.
Does that work for both Councillor Coulter and Sands? Do we still have the same names in the bucket? Thank you. You can draw if you have something. Sure. Councillor Coulter. Yeah, an alternate for Councillor Sands. You're already as alternate, Councillor Sands?
Yes.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to nominate Councillor Coulter and alternate Councillor Sands for the chamber? Deputy Mayor Dennis?
I make a motion of for the Blackfalds Chamber of Commerce. First one would be Councillor Coulter with the alternate Councillor Sands.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Cape. And I would be interested in sitting on Cape. Do we have maybe once a year? I don't know that we have that in our package. Councillor Sands. Okay, so myself and Councillor Sands will do a draw between the two of us. I'll let you do it since you're going to draw from there. Keep it neutral. Democracy at its best.
Or do you want to?
Oh, sure. Just do it. Sands.
All right. And certainly I can sit as alternate for that. Motion. I'll make that motion. I'll make the motion that Councillor Sands represent council with Cape and with myself as alternate. Debate, discussion. All in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you. Parkland Regional Library. I think that's Councillor Coulter and Councillor Stendy.
I'm happy to sit as alternate. Oh.
Okay, so we have, can I get a motion that nominates Councillor Coulter on Parkland Regional Library with Councillor Stendy as alternate? Councillor Schwab.
I'll move that Councillor Coulter be on the Parkland Regional Library on behalf of council and Councillor Stendy as alternate.
Thank you. I call the question. All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. Individual schools, we'll start with IREC. Counselor Schwab?
I just have a question.
Sure.
Which ones meet during the day and which ones meet in the evening?
And I can tell you that the intermediate and St. Gregory meet in the evening because I've sat on those two. I'm not sure about the
Elementary's evening too.
evening. And on junior campus, I think only a couple of times, and it's been Counselor Stende.
The junior campus doesn't actually have one this year. They attempted to have one, but no one showed up other than myself, so they do not have one again.
Okay. So we'll eliminate the junior campus. So elementary campus, all of these, and I wouldn't be able to tell you. Let me tell you, actually, I can tell you that this St. Gregory is actually this week. St. Gregory is the last Thursday of the month, it looks like, because it is this Thursday. That's the only one I know for sure. So let's start with the elementary campus. Counselor Stende.
So the elementary campus is usually either the first or second Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. The intermediate campus is sporadic, but the meetings are almost always at 6:30, usually on a Wednesday.
Thank you. I can reflect on the fact that most of you have are on quite a few boards here, so I'm happy to continue at the intermediate campus and St. Gregory, because although they are on different nights, they have in the past been back to back, and they're usually quite complimentary. But I have no trouble continuing unless somebody else is interested on those two. I've never sat on the elementary, but okay, so that covers all of them then. So make a motion for Councillor Schwab to represent council on the IREC. Councillor Stende.
So for the alternates for the intermediate campuses, there's been discussion in the past, just because I have children at all three of those schools, as well as the fact that my spouse is a trustee. Does administration through the chair feel it would be appropriate for me to sit as alternate for those committees?
I don't see it as being a conflict of interest. I think it's a council discussion here, but generally, you're not looking at any type of pecuniary. So I think it's whatever council's comfort level is, but I don't see an issue with it.
Okay, so that said, if council is okay with it, I'm happy to be alternate for all three of the intermediate campus committees.
Thank you. That's great. And I know that we have attended the odd meeting at the same time, so I'm happy with that. So then Councillor Schwab for elementary campus with Councillor Stende as alternate. Can I get a motion to reflect that, please? Since these are all lumped into one line, we're going to do these all as one or individual, I guess. Be simpler for you. Okay, so that a motion to reflect elementary campus is Schwab and Stende. Councillor Pell.
Thank you. I move that council appoint Councillor Schwab and Councillor Stende being the alternate to the Blackfalds School Parent Council for the elementary campus.
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. And intermediate campus. So that would be myself as the representative with Councillor Stende as alternate. Councillor Schwab.
I'll move that Mayor Hoover be council delegate for the Blackfalds School Parent Council for IRIC and Councillor Stende as the alternate.
Thank you. All in favor? It's unanimous. There's no junior campus, so St. Gregory's would also be someone interested in sitting as alternate for that? Councillor Sands, Councillor Coulter? Councillor Sands, you've got a lot of boards that you put yourself on, Councillor Coulter. You won the draws. So if you're happy to withdraw, then it'll be myself with Councillor Sands. Thank you. Can motion reflect that, please? Councillor Schwab.
I'll move that Mayor Hoover be the delegate for St. Gregory the Great Catholic School Parent Council and Sands be the alternate.
Thank you. All in favor? That's unanimous. Moving on to the, well, I think these two are appropriate. They generally sit back to back, although, we'll see what is the interest. The North Red Deer River Water Commission and North Red Deer River Wastewater Service Commission. They meet in the city of Lacombe about 5 times a year, 6 times a year. Daytime meetings generally start at about 10 o'clock in the morning and finish a little around 9 o'clock in the morning, actually. Sorry, 9 o'clock and finish around noon sometimes. So I will say as well, it is also a little bit complex, those two. They deal with some very long-term planning, which took about a year for me to actually get up to speed on that. So I'm happy to remain if there's no one else that's interested in learning that. Councillor Pell.
Thank you. I move that Mayor Hoover be council's representative on both the North Red Deer River Water Commission as well as the North Red Deer Regional Wastewater Services Commission.
So actually, just before that debate or discussion, I would say we probably should have an alternate for that. Anyone interested in sitting as alternate?
I'm happy to leave my name as alternate.
Okay, so
That's fine.
Councillor, if you want to,
And Councillor Appel is the alternate.
thank you. Debate or discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Lacombe County Fire Service Advisory Committee. I think it's Councillor Sands, right? That isn't it? So anyone interested in sitting on that one? Is that daytime as well?
No, it's one night.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Dennis? Anyone else? Seeing none, I can make that motion that Councillor or Deputy Mayor Dennis be appointed as council a representative on the Lacombe County Fire Services Advisory Committee.
I was going to go as the alternate.
And Councillor Coulter as alternate. Anyone else interested? Seeing none, I call the question. All in favor? LRIMP. Anyone interested in sitting? Who's
How many times do they meet? Oh, jeez.
Councillor Sands? Okay, anyone else? An alternate?
I can do that.
Deputy Mayor Dennis. I'll also make that motion that Councillor Sands sit as our representative on LRIP. Deputy Mayor Dennis as alternate. All in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you. RDR mug. So RDR mug meets about every 3 months, typically during the day and in Drumheller, although they do have a virtual option that they've done for a little while, which wasn't available previously, but it does make it a little bit more accessible. About every 3 months. So they do have a special project, however, coming up. So for anybody that's interested in learning and having a say in essentially mostly deals with water volumes of the Red Deer River and usage by municipalities. So only municipal representation. So currently I'm happy to remain on that if no one else is interested in that position. Looks like that's the case. So can I get a motion to? Councillor Coulter.
I move that Mayor Hoovers is appointed to the Red Deer River Municipal User Group.
Thank you. All in favor? It's unanimous. Red Deer River Watershed Alliance. Their meetings are about 3 times a year, plus AGM, and occasionally a tour, a watershed tour, which can last a couple of days. Although those tours are not just limited to the representative for the town, they're open to anyone that wishes to attend those tours. And they have held one of their meetings in Blackfalds, and I think they've requested potentially to hold a workshop in the town of Blackfalds again this upcoming winter. So again, dealing with watershed issues, a little different than municipal users group. And their meetings are generally during the day and they're all day. So I'm happy to sit on that again. Councillor Appel.
Well, thank you. I would like to move that Mayor Hoover be our representative on the Red Deer River Watershed Alliance Board.
Thank you. All in favor? Blackfalds Health Practitioners Attraction and Retention Committee, 3 members. Councillor Stende, Councillor Appel. There were draft terms of reference, so I don't know that we have them here to Councillor Coulter. So Stende, Appel, and Coulter. Councillor Appel.
Thank you. Yeah, my only comment is that I don't believe that board is has a maximum, as there have been 2 councillors attending for the last 2 years. So I don't know why we only have 1 name listed here.
And I think that it's one of those committees that it's, you know, the more the merrier, really. So that being said, Councillor Stende, Councillor Appel, Councillor Coulter would be fine according to the terms of reference. And I would be happy to make that motion. All in favor? It's unanimous, thank you. And Rural Red Deer Restorative Justice Advisory Council, Deputy Mayor Dennis.
It's virtual and they meet.
I think it's as needed, is it not?
And then there's a few. That time they'll have you have to sit on a council with youth that are involved with stuff, and that's been, one was on Father's Day, and the other one was on a Saturday. And the regular meetings evenings.
Councillor Stende.
So just for anyone who's contemplating putting their name in for that, it's almost always the same night as FCSS, which is usually the 2nd Thursday. I know this because I had to remove myself from one of these boards a couple of years ago because I was on both and couldn't make both meetings.
So since Deputy Mayor Dennis, okay, so since Deputy Mayor Dennis is on FCSS and there's a good chance that'll be a conflict, I think that makes sense that Councillor Schwab. With Deputy Mayor Dennis, I suppose, as an alternate. I don't know if that still is a conflict, but I would put my name as an alternate for that.
Sure.
So can I get a motion to appoint Councillor Schwab to the Restorative Justice Council and myself as alternate? One last one, Councillor Phil.
Thank you. I move that council appoint Councillor Schwab and Mayor Hoover as an alternate for the Rural Red Deer Restorative Justice Advisory Council.
Thank you. I call the question. All in favor? And that is unanimous. And with that, at 7:55. Oh, CAO Isaac.
Sorry. On the FCS board, Rick did take a look at the terms of reference, and there is a maximum of 7. So we wouldn't have the room for Linda Morel unless she happened to be a Lacombe County resident. So I just wanted to call that to your attention.
Oh, well. So that being said, then do we have the appetite to revisit that? Because Anne is a Lacombe County resident. So we could consider Councillor Stendy.
Through the chair, just because I'm looking at this, it's slightly confusing. It says a minimum of 8 members, and I do actually see a max, but it says max 10.
I think there's council members on it as well, right?
Yeah, so it says 2 members of council, up to 7 members at large,
Mhm.
and a Lacombe County resident.
Yeah, so that would be 10, right?
Well, that's the max of 10, but that doesn't mean that's how many there is.
So that may be, when looking at the bylaw, which we did kind of look, it made it clear in there that it could only be maximum 7 members at large. And then there could be up to 3 from Lacombe. One, sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for that. So my only thought, so Councillor Stendy did make the motion for that committee. And since that, I'm just looking at it thinking that Anne is a Lacombe County resident. So conceivably, if Councillor Stendy wishes to withdraw her motion or rescind her motion, we could make a new motion that the 2 Blackfalds residents sitting on there, Glenn and Linda, and then Anne as a Lacombe County potentially. But Councillor Appel.
Thank you, Mayor Hoover. I believe we're speaking about 2 different boards.
Oh, sorry.
They were looking for FCSS,
sorry,
but this
I'm
list was, yeah. So
looking at far too much paperwork in
That's
front of me.
okay, I
so-
think we're
yes,
just a
that's right.
little
We were looking at
confused.
moving Linda over. So, and Anne has not put her name in for that. My mistake. So there would be no way to consider that. Trying to please everybody and mixing up words. So, Councillor Appel.
thank you. I will say though, we do have other boards that don't have maximums. So it could always be opened up to the resident, to Linda, that if she wanted to sit on another town board, we do have vacancies. Or of course, try again next year. And we always try to fit as many people as possible onto our boards.
Okay, thank you. So I don't know that there's any restrictive motion. The motion included just asking if she was interested, and that
That's
being
correct.
the case that we wouldn't be able to ask. So is it
No, I just
Administration
wanted
is-
to call it to council's
okay? So
attention.
no need to amend that motion whatsoever?
No.
Thank you. So with that, I will adjourn the organizational meeting at 7:59. And I will call to order the regular meeting of council at 8 o'clock. Clock just changed for me. A land acknowledgement, I'll read it anyways. It takes just as much time. So starting with the land acknowledgement, Blackfalds Town Council acknowledges that we are on Treaty 6 territory, a traditional meeting ground, gathering place and traveling route to the Cree, Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Métis, Dene, and Nakota Sioux. We acknowledge all the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit whose footsteps have marked these lands for centuries. We do have the agenda in front of us. Any changes from administration?
No, your worship, there are no additions or changes.
Thank you, council. Seeing none, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda for October 24th this evening? Councillor Schwab.
I'll move to adopt the agenda as presented.
Thank you. All in favor? That is unanimous. We do have delegation. Welcome Fire Chief Cote this evening for the Fire Services quarterly report. Thanks for hanging in there. You just want to hit the button on the mic there, Chief? Thank you.
Good evening. Bear with me. Out most of the night, my voice is kind of raspy, so I might lose it.
Sounds very low. Oh, just there you go.
All right. So what you have in front of you is a summary of the types of incidents that we've been responded to for the last 9 months up until last Tuesday when this was submitted. So we've got 180 incidents, and you can see the type of calls that we respond to. The majority of them are alarm calls. Most of those are non-emergent calls. And if you jump over to, oh, this is locked. There we go. So 180 in total. And then for the town of Blackfalds, we have 139 of them. So it's indicating 82 alarm calls, and medical calls are 23, and in-town motor vehicle accidents are 9. Those are the majority of our calls for in-town within the boundaries. As our service agreement on page 3 for the county. Yeah, that's not working. Daniel. Yeah, no, back one. No, other way. We're on page 3. Yep. Okay. All right. So these are the incidents that we respond to in a service agreement with the County of Lacombe. As you can see, the county, we only go to, so far, we've only gone for 2023, 4 alarm calls. And motor vehicle accidents, we're sitting at 15 as of last week. No medical calls at all for the county. And a total of 36 calls so far. City of Lacombe, this year we've only been into the city 4 times on mutual aid assists. 3 of them have been for mutual aid with motor vehicle accidents, and those accidents are on Highway 2 northbound, so north of Highway 12 usually. This gives you an idea on page 5 of the presentation is the alarm breakdown that we respond to. So it gives you the type of calls that we go to or we're request dispatch for. So you can see cooking incidents, 39 of them so far this year on burnt toast or whatever. Equipment malfunction, whether it's defective or expired smoke detectors, right? Even down to now we're getting personal grooming sprays setting off the detectors. It's dry shampoo because it's such a mist, right? So just to give you an idea. Monthly breakdown, it's been pretty consistent this year, with May and August being our busiest months so far. Right down to the hourly breakdown, and we don't go down into the minutes of the hour. So if it happens at 12 p.m., it's 12 p.m. till 1 o'clock, right? So that gives you an idea, and they're pretty close throughout the day. The 1500 or 1400 is when the school kids are getting out of school. They go home, make a snack, or mom and dad or the babysitters making a snack, popcorn, and burning it, right? Weekly breakdown, pretty consistent this year. In the past, Wednesdays were our busiest days, and this year you can see it's all the same for the 7 days of the week. We break it down. Shoot time is the time to get out of the fire hall. So this is in the minutes. So up top of the chart there, you'll see there's a 0. So those are 3 calls that we never went out for at all. Okay. The majority of the response times are getting out of the hall, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. So that's to have a crew, whether it's myself or Mike, or an actual fire truck to leave in the fire hall. So that's not too bad. Average is, according with NFPA, is 10 minutes to get out of the hall. So for the guys to come from the east side of town or the west side, get to the fire hall and then leave, that's not too bad. Next page is the actual response times. So you can see we're up and getting on scene in 11 minutes, 22 times, 12 minutes, 22 times, 13 minutes, 20 times, right? And that's added onto the response, like out of the shoot time, right? And that goes back to weather conditions, traffic as well. And the higher numbers, if you go back, the higher numbers, like in 24 minutes, that's the county getting out to an acreage or a farm or a location. And this is the manpower. So how many, where it says manpower 1, 2, and 3, that's three members, 4 members, 5 members. And out of all the incidents, so 7 members, so 25 calls, 10 members, 19 calls, 23 members, once, right? So that's pretty much the whole department. So that gives you an idea of our turnout, and keeping in mind the volunteers and their full-time jobs and holidays and families. Any questions?
Councillor Pell.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your report. I do have one question.
Yep.
Under the alarms, the different types of call breakdowns, I was just wondering, when it says batteries, is that
So
people's batteries that have died, or they need battery replacements?
yeah, we get phone calls at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock at night. It's chirping, right? And their husbands are usually up north, and they want us to change the batteries because they can't sleep.
It's battery changing. Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I thought, but I
Yeah,
thought I'd double check.
That's exactly what that is.
All right. Thank you.
And it happens a fair bit.
Expensive battery change, I think.
Hmm?
And I'm assuming in some of those cases we're billing.
No,
We're
we're
not?
not. We're advising them to call the electrician,
Okay.
right?
Thank you.
Because you're looking at $600 for a truck.
Right.
So
Okay. Thank you. That makes sense that we're advising them away from that. I'm just assuming that we're sending a big bill for someone to change a battery.
yeah, no, we're advising them.
Thank you. And the only question I have, being that this is, I think, the first report that we've seen with the new truck. Has that truck been deployed significant amount of times?
It's been out on, because it's a town truck, the majority of the calls it's been out on have been alarm calls since we did the push in. And it was out last night on Highway 2 because of the multiple calls.
Okay.
So, because we were stretched from the Blind Man River up to Township Road 40 last night.
Yeah, I would imagine it was busy yesterday. So is it now that truck going to be the primary vehicle dispatched, or is it
For in town.
for in town?
That's our in-town truck.
And it's equipped at this point. I know that when council had a look at it when it was first delivered. So I'm assuming at this point that it's completely
Yep.
rigged out. Everyone's trained on that.
Yeah, it's
Vehicle.
fully equipped. We even put on a set of JAWS rescue tools. So for multiple vehicles, like last year during the budget consultation, we had 3 accidents on Highway 2A. So now we've got 3 sets of JAWS and 3 trucks can go to each of those incidents, no different than the last night, right? So, but the idea is to keep that truck in town or very close for coverage of our residents.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Please pass on to your members appreciation. I know this is getting into a tougher season. A day like yesterday was probably quite a grind for all emergency services. So
Yeah.
pass on appreciation
Well,
from
I'm
council.
sure CAO Isaac will do that tomorrow night.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. So no public hearing this evening. No business arising from the minutes. First item of business, 7.1, Director's Quarterly Reports for the third quarter. 3. Mike, please. Thank you.
We have the director's quarterly reports here for the third quarter of 2023. Council and administration have incorporated a reporting process that includes the quarterly reports provided by department directors that provide updates on activities within each division. The objectives of these quarterly reports, as well as the reporting of the CAO on a monthly basis, assists in improving the flow of information to council and ensuring that they have adequate knowledge of programs and activities. The standard template provides an opportunity for directors to report on activities within their department on a quarterly basis and has been developed to ensure that consistency in format is maintained. The reports provide an overview of the department's activities, updates on operational activities, an update on capital works activities, and information on the progress of reports and programs. Administrative staff are prepared to answer any questions or to expand upon information contained within the report upon request. And what we're looking here is that council accept the director's third quarter reports for 2023 as information, and we'd open it up to questions at this time if council has any.
Thank you. And I know that we have your report coming up soon as well. So be some redundancy there. Any questions for with regards to the director quarterly reports? Councillor Sands.
Thank you. I just had one quick one through the chair to Director Krikowicz. I just noticed that it said that that glass was replaced in Arena 1. So I'm just wondering if it was actually replaced or just reinstalled, or did we buy new glass for that?
Yes, that would have been reinstalled from when we took it out for these summer activities.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Pell.
Thank you so much. I also have one question, through the chair, which would also be to Director Krikowicz. Under the FCSS operations report, it discusses the Central Alberta Rural Communities Coalition. And I was just wondering what our involvement was on that, because I don't recall it being mentioned previously. And when I went to their website to check it out, we weren't listed as a partner community.
Yes, I'd have to check with our manager of FCSS for more information on that.
There's no other questions. Seeking a motion to accept director reports for information. Councillor Stenny.
I'll move that council accept the director's third quarter reports for 2023 as information.
Thank you. All in favor? It's unanimous. Moving on to 7.2, the quarterly financial reports for the period ending September 30th.
Thank you, Council. So before you do have the quarterly financial reports for the period ending September 30th, 2023. The quarterly financial reports for the period are attached. Together with these reports represent the financial activities of the municipality during the reporting period. The operating statement of revenues, Appendix A, gives a high-level view of revenues and expenditures incurred to date, with the variance on the annual budget and the actual as a percentage of a budget. The main indicators will identify any areas of concerns or anomalies. Appendix B, which is the divisional statements of one layer up, is attached. Appendix C is the capital projects year-to-date reporting activity, like I mentioned, to the September 30th, 2023. And the council expenditure report, which is Appendix D, is attached. So under the operating revenues for the period ending September 30th, revenues are just over 18 million, which is just over 76% of the budgeted revenues for the quarter. The operating expenditures are around 16 million, which is 74%. So operating surplus is around $2 million before transfer to reserves. Under environmental services, which is water, wastewater, and solid waste, for the third quarter, revenue is around $6 million, which is 77% of the budget, and the expenses are coming in at 75% or $5.24 million. The surplus is around $820,000, which the surplus will get transferred year end to the utility reserve for supporting the utility maintenance. Appendix B, like I mentioned, provides the divisional variance analysis. And on page 2 of the report there, we do have some general comments on the revenues and expenditures. I won't go through these the actual comments there, but I'm open for any questions if you do have any. Under the capital projects, Appendix C, like we provide details on each capital project, including prior year approvals, funds remaining, additional approved budget amounts for 2023, amounts spent to date, and the number of funds remaining, along with a simple update on the project status. Under the council expenditures, Appendix D, once again, we analyze everything to the 75th percentile of the annual budget, and elected officials' honorariums are on track for the year, and many councillors' per diems and travel expenses are lower than a year-to-date budget. There is 3 administrative recommendations there, accepting both the operating statement, the capital project, and the council expenditures for information. And with that, I'll open up for any questions.
Thank you. Councillor Stendy.
So through the chair to administration, I think that I may have found an area where our policy is lacking. So in the past, council has had conversations about what would happen if a member went over their allotted budget for per diems or for travel. And at that time, the discussion was, should somebody go over, they could use other council's remaining budget if it was unanimously agreed to by council. That said, when I went looking for that in our policy, it doesn't state anywhere what would happen if somebody went over. And the reason that I went looking is because there is one member of council who, according to these percentages, is at 88% of their per diems and 95% of their conference and travel. And I'm not sure if that was a mistake or if something happened, but it did bring me to that question. So if maybe administration could address that and what policy that should fall under and maybe bring it back to council, I would appreciate it.
Certainly, thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Pell.
Thank you. So through the chair to Director DeBresser, my question's regarding the capital projects list. And I'm sorry, because I do believe I asked this question last year as well, but I'm just wondering when items that are completed are actually removed from this list and then their funds are put back to the reserves, like their respective reserves. Is that at the end of the calendar year?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Questions? Seeking a motion to accept financial report for the period ending September 30th. Councillor Pell.
Thank you. I move that council accepts the operating statement and variance report for the period ending September 30th, 2023 as information.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Second motion, Councillor Stendy.
Move that council accepts the capital project report for the period ending September 30th, 2023 as information.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? All in favor? That is carried. Councillor Schwab.
I'll move that council accepts the council expenditure report for the period ending September 30th, 2023 as information.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? Councillor Stendy.
Through the chair to administration, I know that at least once during this term, there was a mistake that was made on the council expenditure report, which made one councillor's numbers appear to be quite a bit higher. I believe it was when she went to the federal. Yeah. So I'm asking before we accept these, if maybe we can just double check that the numbers are accurate and reflecting properly, and then maybe have it come back for acceptance, please.
So we do have the motion, but yeah, fair debate. So given that, I still call the question. All in favor? All opposed? Fair. Okay, so this will be brought back. Thank you. So that is defeated. 7.3, bylaw 1293.23, Schedule C, the Community Services Facility Fee Schedule.
Thank you, Your Worship and Council. Typically, we look at the recreation rates every 2 years. Last year, we decided that since we were coming out of the pandemic, we would revisit the rates again this year. So we do have a number of changes that we made to primarily our room rentals for this year. The rates, and again, this is just Schedule C of the rate bylaw, not A, B, and D, and E. But we do have, we did present this to the Recreation Board at the September 6th and October 4th meetings. They were approved unanimously. The changes are shown in red, and we have some minor changes in the definitions to include businesses. So typically what we do when we look at rates is we compare them to a lot of communities around Blackfalds or of similar stature, like for buildings and things like that. So the rates that we have here, we feel are very comparative. And I believe, like I said, the rec board is in agreement with that as well. So with that, we have a number of recommendations for council, including first reading of this Schedule C change.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Councillor Pell.
Thank you. Through the chair to Director Krakowicz, I do have a question, but it's more of a clarification question. Under the sports park, the Sterling Industries Sports Park Ball Diamonds, we have camping, we have both tenting and trailer. It just doesn't specify, because we have for the other items in that category, daily or weekend. So I just wasn't sure. I'm assuming it's daily, but I just thought for clarification for when the rates go out, it might be nice to say, or per night, I guess it wouldn't be per day, but have that on there.
Yes.
Okay.
It is per night.
It is per night.
Thank you for that catch.
No problem. Thank you.
Other questions? So we are looking for first reading. Councillor Stende.
I'm prepared to give first reading to bylaw 1293.23, Schedule C, Community Services Facilities Fee Schedule.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? Call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous. Councillor Pell.
Thank you. I move that council gives second reading to bylaw 1293.23, Schedule C, Community Services Facilities Fee Schedule.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? Councillor Sands?
Sorry.
Okay. Call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous. Looking for a motion for consent to go to third reading. Councillor Sands?
I'll move that council give unanimous consent to give third reading, but to bylaw 1293.23, Schedule C, Community Services Facility Fee Schedule.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? Call the question. All in favor? So it is unanimous. We have the ability to move the third. Councillor Coulter.
I move the council gives third and final reading to bylaw 1293.23, Schedule C, Community Service Facilities Fee Schedule.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? Call the question. All in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to 7.4, bylaw 1289.23, council procedural bylaw.
Thank you, council. So we did review this bylaw quite extensively at the last standing committee of council. So it is just brought forward here for council's consideration to give 3 readings, or if you'd prefer 1 reading, but we're hoping that you would consider 3 readings so we can move forward and get that consent agenda moving along, get your council meetings moving a bit quicker.
Questions? So I did have one, and I, after doing some review of this, reflection of this, and Councillor Pell had made one comment when we looked at this before, where because this bylaw will be applied by other boards and committees, there are a few sections in there. There's some that won't apply. For example, the consent agenda,
Right.
but there are some others like virtual meeting, and so there's still references to council specific. So I wonder if there will be another document that remedies that, so that it's not confusing to those boards and committees.
What we could do is, I had mentioned that we would like to do a master committees bylaw, and as part of that, we could do a simplified procedures based on what would apply from this council procedure bylaw.
Okay, so the change that maybe we looked at previously may not have been necessary because we were looking at a separate document that will refer to particular sections to this.
Right.
What I didn't want is to have to do a wholesale change where we go through every line that would apply to those boards and committees and have to change that to members instead of council. But I think that it's important that it's clear that if those committees are referring, so
Yeah.
that was the only thing. That there seemed to be a number of places where it could be amended to be more clear for those committees. Or just having a line somewhere in here saying that at the beginning that this applies to boards and committees. So if you are comfortable with it, then I suppose I would be too. But I just want to make sure that if this is being applied by other boards and committees, it's not confusing that some sections won't apply to them.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. That would be my only concern in that. So that said, if we're going to be remedying that with another document, then I have no concern with us moving forward with reading first to third. Any other questions before we consider motion? Seeing none, someone willing to move first reading? Councillor Coulter.
I move that council gives first reading to bylaw 1289.23 council procedure bylaw.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Thank you. That's unanimous. Councillor Sands.
I'll move that council give second reading to bylaw 1289.23 council procedural bylaw.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? All in favor? That is carried unanimously. Seeking unanimous consent to move to third reading. Councillor Schwab.
I'll move that council give unanimous consent to give third reading to bylaw 1289.23 council procedural bylaw.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Thank you. It is unanimous. Councillor Pell.
Thank you so much. I move council give third and final reading to bylaw 1289.23, the council procedural bylaw.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? I call the question. All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. And then moving on to 7.5, CAO report. You don't have it memorized?
Sorry, it's not on there. Council, I did do a slight change to the templating of the CAO report because I felt that the previous report was basically reiterating what was coming forward through the director's quarterly reports. So what I did was I just kind of did some key initiatives, key projects and initiatives, some policy bylaw updates that we've identified that require some updates, as well as some internal policies, administrative policies that we've either made changes to or considering making changes to. So it's a work in progress. I'd like to get feedback from council on whether this meets your expectations or if you'd like me to add more. I put that out there for you to give some consideration to.
Thank you. Comments, questions for CEO Isaac? I think given the quarterly reports, in addition to this, in this instance, this makes the most sense. I think seeing as now that we are moving into consent agenda, I would assume fairly soon, then this will probably satisfy that as well. Any questions before we consider the motion to accept for information? Councillor Swab.
I'll move to accept the CAO report as information.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? Call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous. We have no action correspondence. Moving into information items. 9.1, Rec Board meeting for September 6th. FCSS 9.2 FCSS meeting minutes for September 14. Uh, 9.3 letter from Battle River Watershed Alliance, September 27th. .4 City of Lacombe Council highlights for October 10. .5 County of Lacombe Council highlights October 12th. 9.6 Special Events Permit for Remembrance Day service. And 9.7 2023 holiday train schedule. Very excited about that one. Being the last stop again, it's going to be the best. Thank you. So looking for a motion to accept information items. Councillor Sands.
I'll move to accept these information items as information.
Thank you. All in favor? That's unanimous. Roundtable discussion, starting with Councillor Coulter.
I would like to apologize to the to council and the community. I was late getting mine in, but I can give it to everybody verbal.
If you have anything, certainly.
So for my roundtable report from September 16th to October 15th, 2023, September 28th, I was at our standing committee meeting. September 25th was our regular council meeting. September 26th to 29th was the AMA 2023 Convention and Trade Show. October 3rd was Blackfalds Library meeting. October 10th was regular council meeting. And I have handed it in for be included with additional minutes.
Thank you. Councillor Swab.
I don't have anything additional to add, but if anybody wants to reach out to me on any of the items, they're more than welcome to.
Thank you. Councillor Powell.
Thank you. I also don't have any additional points to add at this time.
Deputy Mayor Dennis.
Nothing additional.
Thank you. Councillor Sands.
No, I don't have anything to add.
Councillor Stendy.
I have no additions, but if it makes you feel any better, Councillor Coulter, I sent the wrong month and our EA had to save me. So you're not alone.
Thank you. And anyone has questions about mine? Nothing to add. Motion to accept roundtables as information. Councillor Coulter.
I move that we accept roundtable reports as information.
Thank you. All in favor? It's unanimous. Moving on to 11.1, adoption of the minutes. Minutes from October 10th. Any errors or omissions noted? Seeing none, motion to accept October 10th minutes. Deputy Mayor Dennis.
I make motion to accept the minutes from October 10th, regular council meeting.
Thank you. Debate or discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. And minutes 11.2 from October 16th, Standing Committee. Councillor Appel.
Thank you. I move to approve the minutes from the Standing Committee of Council meeting on October 16th, 2023.
Thank you. All in favor? That's unanimous. We have no notices of motion. Business for the good of council. No business for the good of council. And that ends the open meeting for council for this evening. Thank you for joining us. We'll go to a 5-minute recess at 8:36.